Hey guys, it's Katie at scrappinkaty.ctmh.com, and I'm back after a short little break to bring you sketch 21 of the Christie's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches.
Okay, I think I'm finally back. I took a break. I've had some rotator cuff issues, and so it really just kind of finally caught up to me. So I took a break, but I am back with day 21, and here's a look at the sketch. Now, I've pulled some of the papers from the Perfect Match collection that was basically a Valentine collection, and I just have a few additional sheets and stickers that I haven't used. So I'm going to try to use that for these photos of my husband's 39th birthday. So I have already cut those down and matted those to fit this grouping of photos right here. And then I've also pulled out a piece of cardstock that I think I'm going to use for the larger triangles. And then I've pulled out some flip-flaps because I definitely have 2 additional photos that I want to use, and so I'm going to try and do a flip-flap on there and show you guys. I've had a couple of videos that show you how to do it. I prefer to attach the flip-flap to my layout base and then cut my memory protector. So hopefully I can fit all of that in. So let's get started. Okay, I think I'm going to use Glacier as my base. And then I am going to just use a stylus and dry emboss all around the edge. And I think on this one I am going to do 1/4 of an inch, and I want the ends to cross, if that makes sense. So I'm going to go edge to edge. And I'm just using my scoreboard. You can use whatever you're familiar with. Okay, and then over here my stylus skipped, so I'm going to pretend that that's on purpose. So I'm just going to make a couple of smaller lines on 1/8 of an inch. It's already done on that side. And so let's do it on this side. So what that does is that creates a raised line. And then you can, because our cardstock has a white core, we're going to sand it. And you're going to be able to see that line all the way around. Now, as far as sanding blocks go, you can purchase, I believe some companies still have sanding blocks for crafts. This is my memory keeper, maybe? I'm not sure. Or you can just purchase it from your Lowe's or Home Depot. They make sanding blocks. Or you can also do a fingernail file. Whatever works for you. But I'm just going to sand right on the edge of this. And then we're going to use a lint roller to pick up the color. You have to be careful because whatever you are sanding over, like if I had something stuck to my work surface, it would sand it as well. So I'm just going to go back over this one. And then I'm going to get my lint roller and kind of pick up all that dust. If you have some sort of other, like a lint cloth, anything you want to do, I just find these cheap lint rollers work the best. And then pick it up from your table. So I did finish this off just with a dry paper towel. And just look, I mean, it looks like you almost stitched around it. I love that. about this white cork cardstock. Okay, so for the triangles, I think I'm going to go with pink. The back side is that. And so the easiest thing I do is you just cut a square. Sorry, I had to find my cutter. So let's cut 4 1/4 inch. And then turn it sideways and cut it 4 1/4 inch. And I need 3. So, and I don't know. That's just the measurement I went with. I'm not sure if it's right. You could make it smaller or larger. And then I want to mark the half. So I want to line it up at 2 1/8 and mark right there. And then do the same thing on this one and mark right there. So then I'm going to cut from that centerpiece to the corner. Just going to line it up. Your cutter may be a little bit different, so just do however you need to do to cut this. And you could totally freehand it if you want. So I've got that one, and then I'm going to do the same for this side. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. If you look, 2 of these little peaks are actually hidden. So it's all about having fun and just doing what you want to do. Okay, so I'm going to do the triangles like so. Maybe I should do that. So I think I am. I'm going to do that. I'm going to kind of squish them together a little bit more. I'm going to have this hang over, and then this one. This one. And then I think my flip flap is going to go down here. So I think I just want to scoot those apart just a little bit. And I don't like how the edge of that's just barely showing. So I'm going to scoot everything over just a tad. So I think I'm going to add some circle stamps here and there and everywhere behind these triangles. And I think I'm going to use, I really don't want to use black. I think I'm going to use Glacier and kind of do a tone on tone. And then I'm just going to go right here. And then I have a smaller circle I can fill in with. Okay, so I finished that stamping. So I'm going to go ahead and get these laid down. And I thought about doing regular stitching on these triangles, but I think I'm just going to do it with a pin. So there's that one, and then I want to bring this one out to right there. So I'm just going to use a black journaling pen and a ruler. And basically you get the same look without having to go to your sewing machine. Okay, so that's good. So one more. And you know what I love about this sketch is that you could actually do any shape. I contemplated hearts. I contemplated something having to do with birthdays, so like cupcakes, candles, something like that. And I just ended up going with the triangles on this side. Now on this side, I may try to do a different shape. And I think it's perfectly fine that the shapes don't match perfectly. So here is where I am going to add some faux stitching. So you just take your journaling pen and just add little marks with a ruler. And they don't have to be perfect. The majority of these are going to be hidden. And if you've ever stitched, you also kind of know that perfect stitching is kind of a unicorn too. It doesn't really happen that way very often. Or it doesn't for me. My stitching is hardly ever in a straight line. You know, some edge will have a perfect 1/8 of an inch, then I'll have a 1/16 of an inch, and I'll have somewhere in between. You know the drill. So let's add some 3D foam. So I've just got foam tape on the back of there. Do you guys remember where these were? I gotta make sure that they're in a place over here on these triangles that show. Okay, so let's do that. Ruler. Okay. So, and how I decide which ones are going to go under a flip flap and which ones aren't is the ones that are basically related, if that makes sense. So the cupcake we had at home, I ordered, he loves bacon, so I ordered these bacon cupcakes. And then we also had crawfish that his parents brought down. And then these all have to do with going out. We went out and actually had, because we celebrated his birthday on St. Patrick's Day instead of his actual birthday. So we went out for green drinks and then we went and watched the movies. And so that is why all of these are going to be the flip flap. I'm putting the drink on top because aesthetically, these all have to do with food and drink. So I am going to put the Paramount picture down about right there. Now before I adhere it, because I adhere my flip flaps to my base page, I want to get the flip flap. And so this is sticky right here. So this is going to fold over to the back and then it's going to stick on my layout. So I want my green drink right here. And then when I flip it open, I want Cloverfield right here. So I'm going to put those like that. And then those two will go into there. And then I'm going to line these photos up and then adhere this where it is all straight. So it looks like that flip flap is going to go right up underneath that photo. And then I have those. So there are my flip-flaps, so I get to see the rest of the photos. And then now let's work on the title and then these little repetitive shapes. So these are the stickers from that perfect match. And so I'm just going to take, see how it says Happy Heart Day? Well, I'm thinking I can use happy and day for either happy birthday, happy 39th day. I thinking happy day. And then, yeah, you know what? I am almost positive about that. So we're going to go ahead and stick those down. Happy day. And all I'm doing is basically centering it that way and centering it this way, and then hopefully it's centered enough that you can't really tell. So happy day. And then let's think about these. Okay, so I have these thin cuts from my Easter layout. So I think I'm going to do 39. I'm going to pull out an alphabet stamp and add the TH. And then I've got a couple of birthday stamps. So I think I'm going to stamp birthday. But I need to find one that is short enough, because since my 39 is not going over the edge, I don't want my birthday to go over the edge. Perfect. So birthday, that's going to be it. So let me go cut these off camera. Okay, so I cut the 30 and the 9 out of that XOXO paper because I definitely wanted it black, and I just thought the XOXO would look cute. You can't really even tell that it has XOXO. And then let me go ahead and stamp birthday, and I'm going to ink that up in black as well. So let me use intense black. Sorry if my hair's in the way. Couldn't see. Okay, so we have that. Scoot this over just a little bit. I'm going to use Stacy's hand. Stacy's hand is part of our Stacy Julian story by Stacy. And I just love it. So I'm going to use this for the T and the H. Again in black. So T. And I like that there's actually several options. So I'll show you here in a second. But there's a straight option, and then there's kind of a wacky option. So I just love that about that. And that one's kind of wacky, for lack of a better word. So I think that is perfect. So see on this T, I had a straight and then kind of a one with a little leg to it. Okay, so now I can glue down the 30 and the 9. Okay, so I'm just going to adhere that here. Okay, so that is it on the title. And then I need to come back and figure out, if anything, that I'm going to do there. Okay, so I have decided I'm not going to do anything right here, but I am going to add my journaling lines, and I'm going to add them with the emboss, the dry emboss, and the sanding. So inevitably, I just want them right here. So I think I'm going to start at 8.5 inches, go every 1/4 of an inch down to 10.25. And the reason that's important for me to know is because I have to do this sight unseen. So 8.5. Pray this works, girls. Okay, so 8.5, and I'm just going to start about right there. 8.5. Let's do every 1/2 inch. 9. 9.5. Is anybody nervous but me? We got new neighbors and they have a dog, and he drives my dog crazy. Okay, so then let me sand that right quick. The trick when you're sanding in the middle of something is to just sand really lightly. Otherwise, our cardstock can be sanded even if it's not raised. So I'm going to take that dry paper towel again. Okay. So there is that. And let me show you how to do your memory protector. Okay, so you'll need your memory protector. I do recommend Close to My Hearts. There's a reason why they're patented. They're just wonderful. You'll need an X-Acto knife. I like to use a steel ruler, but you don't have to. And then some sort of something that will punch a hole. And I just have a silent setter from way back when in the eyelet days. And then I also have a photo pencil, and that helps. So you're going to come at the top of your flip flap, which if you weren't able to see it, I know that it's at the bottom of this crawfish photo. So we want to cut a line right here. And the good thing about using this is that I can erase the line once I'm done with it. And then you also need some sort of cutting mat. That way you can slide it in there. So I am going to take my X-Acto knife and I am going to cut on this line. Cut long enough? I don't think I did. Just going to cut just a little bit longer. Okay. And then I do this step before Close to My Heart had even flip flaps. I taught how to alter your memory protectors to allow for interaction. And I just found that if you do this step, then it doesn't, that line isn't going to keep going, if that makes sense. So on this one, you kind of want to use a harder surface. So I'm just using the little mat that comes with my silent setter. And so you're going to put your little hole punch or whatever over the end of that cut, and it stops it from keeping on cutting. You know, I remember when pantyhose were popular. I remember when my mom would wear pantyhose, and if it got a run in it, you know, she would put clear fingernail polish so it would stop the run. That's basically what this little circle thing does. And then if your circle isn't kept in there, you just want to make sure you get it out. And while that hard surface is in your memory protector, then you can take your rub and remove. You can even use your finger, and you can just erase that blue pencil line so it won't show up. And then you take this out. Looks like there's a little bit left. And then I'm going to slide this out ever so slightly. And then once the bottom of my flip flap gets to that little slit that I created, I am just going to make sure that it's positioned where instead of going inside the memory protector, it goes outside. And there we go. And I just love that look a whole lot better than the flip flap hanging off of the memory protector. So there is my layout for day 21. I will leave links down to everything that I use that's still available, as well as links to all the other girls that are playing along. And thank you so much for stopping by and watching, even after my 5-day break. I sure do appreciate it. And I'm hoping that if you're a praying person, I'm hoping that my arm gets better. It is my right arm, and so my only fear is that I would have to lay off everything, you know, for a month or so if I have to have surgery, or even if that's what it takes to heal. So I'm trying not to do that. There's just too much, you know. I do have a job outside the home, so not using my right arm would be pretty not catastrophic, because I know there are worse things, but really don't want to get to that point. So again, thank you so much for stopping by and watching. I'm hoping to play along with the sketches for the rest of the month. I don't know about every day, but we will see. Thanks so much.